Good morning, evening, and afternoon, and welcome to part 46 of Aokana,蒼の彼方のフォーリズム. So it's been a few days compared to I normally do this, but we are, I should rather say, I left this series in a bit of a cliffhanger, I guess you could say, where we were in a fight. We were showing the fight between Asuka and Shindo. It started off not too sure how to go about it. How should I say this? I wasn't expecting too much, as I knew this fight was going to be one-sided. I knew Shindo was going to win, but I also thought, okay, Asuka's going to show a few tricks here and there. Make it a bit of a surprise in a sense. But it was kind of the opposite. There were surprises, but it wasn't from Asuka, but from Shindo instead. So I was quite surprised to see that, well, firstly, Asuka hasn't been doing any surprises, I guess you could say, but that Shindo is going all out against her. He's doing all he can to show the difference in power or ability. And it has me and Masaya a bit perplexed, a bit confused. One of the key moments to me in last episode was Misaki. When she realized that Shindo did not go all out against her, that in a sense he was playing with her. And I thought that was really interesting because specifically her emotion and her facial expression really showed it for me. It makes me want to know what she's thinking right now and what she will think of after the tournament. Because in this situation, it can go two ways. She might feel more motivated to improve, or she might lose motivation. And I can see that happening, because it kind of did happen to Masaya. He was shown the difference in power, and he left. Very interesting to see that. And then lastly, the thing that perplexed me and Masaya is Shindo's actions. Not only is he showing abilities that he should not really know as a high school Skywalker, but that he's doing it in a way that's almost teaching, I guess you could say, almost showing Asuka. And to me that shows that he perhaps sees potential in Asuka and wants her to improve. Words that kind of shows this is a little bit here when he tries to throws some short techniques in and doesn't manage to throw her off, but he's not even trying to lose her. He's trying to get her to focus on his flying, and we don't know what he's after, and I find that quite interesting. Other than that, I'm not too sure how this is going to go. I'm expecting that the fight's going to end quite soon, and I don't think we'll see any other matches, so we'll see how it goes. Shinno-san disappears from Asuka's view right when it looks like he's about to accelerate. Is he going to do the move at the bottom again? I can't remember what it's called. And he breaks and goes to the down and goes straight up again. This is it. This is the moment of truth. Right, I forgot. They were wanting him to do this move again, and then for her to try and counter it. But with what we know of Shindo, I can almost feel like he wanted that. He wants to see what she's able to do against this move. Asuka ends up ahead of Shinno-san, which gives her a chance to pull off our plan. Now. The air kick turn, right. That was a good way to counter that breaking ability. Asuka tucks her arms and legs in, curling up her body, then kicks her legs outward, straightening up her whole body with an air kick turn. In an instant, she shoots back towards Shindo-san. So he expected that. He sees the potential in her. Is it just me, or did Shindo-san smile faintly? That was one of the things I had a big issue with last time, was Masaya's lack of knowledge, or not really foresight, but then again, I did mention this last time. There's just opportunities where Shindo-san didn't show these types of moves before, so it's hard for him to really show his true potential. Maybe he's even stronger than anyone thought he was. There are some players who smile during matches, but not in this opportunity, this moment. It happens because some people's facial muscles loosen when they are in a state of high concentration. Wait, he's focusing? Does that mean he isn't surprised? He predicted that would happen? I kind of saw this coming, actually, because he's a strong player. He knows that he can't do the same thing twice. He knows that obviously either the coach, the second, or the player would try to come up with something to counter it. Shindo-san proceeds to curl up his body, and then he maintains the posture needed for the Cobra while pulling off another move. He went straight up, dodging Asuka's ability. An air kick turn. Impossible. No way. He directly chained a Cobra into an upward air kick turn without losing his balance at all. How? I'm getting goosebumps here. This is way harder than combining the Cobra with a Suishida. Chaining two high-speed maneuvers that move you in different directions, it's just... There's no doubt in my mind that he's far better than anyone else at this tournament. Asuka is now in the perfect position for Shindo-san, which means her back's wide open. Huh? Go where? Before that question escapes my lips, she's gonna transition to an air kick turn again. Another one. Asuka does a second air kick turn. I'm sure that people who aren't too familiar with Flying Circus, if they were to see this match, it would be quite a spectacle, I guess you could say. Even if you know Flying Circus, this will be a spectacle to watch. High class abilities being used one after another. One from a known player, another one from an unknown player. Oh, a surprise from Shindo-san a bit there. She uses it to fly straight into Shindo-san, who has been diving down to touch her back. Into another one. This again? What now? Asuka uses the repellent force from her clash to perform another air kick turn. Then she stretches out her hand. Scores a point. That's good. I can't believe it. She actually got him. The score is now 1-4. Asuka used the recall again in the exact same way. This is going to make her... I mean, obviously pros know how to use the air kick turn and would be able to do this type of thing, but at this level should be quite formidable in the lower brackets, the beginner brackets, I guess you could say, where using this force to constantly touch your opponents, to transition to an air kick turn to touch your opponent again, is quite a fighterish way to fight, but also quite interesting. And she successfully touches Shino-san's back for a second time. How is she doing this? What's happening here? She just scored on Shino-san twice? I've never seen anyone chain epic turns like that. Not even in pros? Oh, it seems like she's going for another one. Fortunately, her hand doesn't even reach Shino-san this time. An epic turn allows you to perform a high-speed quick turn because of the instantaneous membrane shift that's brought about by curling your body. In other words, it's based on changing the direction of an initial force. So just like our pendulum eventually comes to a stop due to friction and air resistance, some force is lost with each directional change, which lowers the speed. And unfortunately, that third epic turn slowed her down too much. Still, she did manage to score 2 points on Shindo-san. What now? I just thought this now. I was talking about Misaki earlier about how she's a bit distraught about how Shino-san didn't go all out against her. And sure, I think the score with Misaki and Shino was 4-7, if I recall correctly. But I'm just thinking now that how Misaki will feel with how strong Asuka has developed in just this one match. How will she view Asuka? Will she see her as a rival, an enemy, still her teammates? I'm quite curious. Should we take advantage of this confusion and engage in a dogfight? Or wait, would it be better for her to go for the next buoy instead? What's the correct decision here? This is where he should be focused, and this is one of his weak points, in a sense. He's not performing well as the second year. He doesn't have proper strategies in order. He is unable to think on the fly in quick decision thinking. And he caves under the pressure, but he loses focus in a sense. Both options feel right and wrong, which makes it hard to decide. I can understand it can be confusing because your opponent is Shindo-san. So trying to think of the right move against him, I can see being quite difficult. Asuka, go at him. Doesn't matter where, just touch him. To stop him from balancing himself again and then go to the buoys, I'm guessing. We won't get another chance like this. Shino-san's probably stalled by this turn of events. In situations like this, people tend to go on the defense. A perfect example is how people react when a boulder comes rolling down toward them. Running or jumping out of the way seems like a logical choice, but some people stand their ground. Why is that? Are they too scared to move? That's a possible explanation, but not the most common one. The truth is a lot stranger than you'd expect. When faced with a choice between evading or blocking an incoming object, your instincts will tell you to raise your guard. And with that in mind, Shino-san should be focusing more on defense right now. Asuka manages to touch Shino-san's leg. Shino-san braced himself for her attack in a weird way, so he's left spinning away with his waist as his axis. Nice, it should take him a while to recover from that. Now's your chance. Oh. Asuka moves behind Shino-san, who has now stopped spinning, and scores another point. Okay, I'm surprised. It's 3-4 now. That's 3-4. Yeah, Misaki. I'm actually more interested in seeing how Misaki will take this. What I found interesting is the voice as well as what she said. Rather than just saying Asuka's going to defeat Shindo-san, it's more about she's saying that Asuka is going to defeat that Shindo. It's almost saying she looked down upon Asuka as her. How can I say this? She didn't consider Asuka a strong opponent or a strong player. But obviously she sees Shindo-san high up. So it's going to be interesting because she's going to compare herself now to Asuka, who she thought originally as lower than her. But now all of a sudden Asuka's going higher and higher. But I don't think Misaki would actually want that. I'm sure she doesn't want that because it's almost like saying Asuka's better than her. Interesting. I never knew that she thought of Asuka this way. Or is it more about herself? Hmm.
何をやっているのです部長。ペースを変えないと面倒なことになりますわ。
Oh, interesting.
分かってるよ。
分かっているのでしたら、それらしいことをしてください。
Well, then again, we were under the assumption that he wasn't going all out. Sure, he was doing more than against Misaki, but it was almost like he was teaching her or leading her along. But obviously, from what his expression shows, he is a bit upset. So he probably drop what he was doing and then focus more on the match itself.
ここで負けるのはみんなを裏切るということですわ。
佐藤君は厳しいな。
強い人が余裕を見せながら戦うのは好きではありません。しっかりと泥臭くやってください。そうやって何をしてでも勝つのが私の知っている部長ですわ。
そうかもね。
あと佐藤院ですわ。
分かったよ、佐藤院君。君の言う通りだ。
Okay, that was a bit louder than I thought. Shino-san, who has almost hit the water in an attempt to evade Asuka's attacks, suddenly roars. His loud voice makes Asuka flinch. His second roar makes Asuka freeze up for a moment. People tend to get intimidated when they hear loud yelling. Don't stop now, Asuka. Keep moving. Never imagined Shino-san was the type to roar loudly and openly display his passion and desire to win. I just assumed he was far more quiet and meek. Shino-san touches Asuka's shoulder as she's rooted in place, sending her flying off into the distance. She's currently spinning sideways due to his attack. He recovers quicker than Asuka, then touches her back. crap, this is bad. Asuka's never fought in a match that's anything like this. Makes sense since no one's ever this intense in a practice match. Well, Prez always is, but that comes off as more of a joke than anything. True. Anyway, other than that, her only matches were in the first round, where she faced some below average opponents. Yeah, we wouldn't have known. But this is the first time she's seen anything like this. His raw anger, passion, and desire to win are hard to bear. She's overwhelmed by his technique that wasn't even specifically designed for flying circus. Though that's not to say it came from any other sport. You see, it's something far more primal that humans have used since the Stone Age. Shino-san's intense emotions lock both of them into their roles. Namely, the hunter and the hunted. Shino-san and Asuka. Calm down, you still find the same person. Nothing's changed. Asuka's voice is quivering a little as she replies. That is 3-6. Yeah. He makes up for the 3 points Asuka scored in next to no time. The score is now 3-6. I knew it. The gap between them is too wide. If only Asuka had more experience. No, I can't place the blame on her. Yep. This is my fault. I'm the one who sent her out here without preparing her for this scenario. I could have made her practice for this. It's not too late. I still have a chance to fix this. There must be some advice I can give her. Asuka, remember what you did when we practiced in the gym on that rainy day? Tag.
Huh?
Flip back and get behind him. You can do it. Shino-san's just mindlessly rushing at you, so now's your chance. Constantly roaring does tend to intimidate your opponent. However, it also makes you start seeing red. In other words, his strategy has turned him into a frenzied berserker. That's why Asuka still has a chance. You need to keep a cool head and outthink him. He's just acting on instinct now, so I'm sure you can do it. Good suggestion, finally. Shino-san is charging straight toward Asuka's back once more. I'm expecting okay, the shaking's a bit too much. Let me go there, okay. So I'm expecting it to go like they're going in a diagonal way downwards in a sense like this. Asuka and then Shino-san. I'm expecting Shino-san to blindly go straight down towards Asuka while Asuka does another ekic turn to quickly go past him above or below. And then do another quick ekic turn to bounce back to his back. Go Asuka. Fortunately, things don't go according to plan. When Asuka tries to spin backward and perform something akin to a backflip, Shino-san breaks like when he was using the Cobra and raises his right hand. Okay. Then he spikes Asuka like a volleyball.
そんな風にかわしに来るとは思わなかったけど、予備動作が大きすぎるんじゃないかな。
It can't be. He was actually thinking straight despite all the roaring. Incredible. He's some kind of kendo or judo athlete as well. That's 3-8. Shino-san keeps scoring point after point. Time keeps flowing as I find myself unable to provide any advice. What can we do? What can we do? That question keeps endlessly repeating inside my head, leaving me at a loss for words. And this is another unfortunate aspect. All I really can do now is gaze up at the field with clenched fists. Even though I hate the situation, I'm forced to accept defeat as I watch Asuka get destroyed by Shindo-san. I hope he learns from this. I hope he gets better at becoming a second after this match. Eventually the whistle blows. 3-10. That's the final score. I can hear Asuka panting heavily through the headset. Shindo-san, no, the strongest Aokana of our generation, Kazunari Shindo, is looking down on us with a sneer on his face, seemingly mocking the exhausted Asuka. I wouldn't really say mocking. From what I got from through the match, I don't know, mocking wouldn't really be the right word for me. Is that all you can do? That's what he seems to be saying. Before I know it, I tense my shoulders to a point where they hurt. I don't know whether it's because Shindo-san is too intense or because Asuka is so frightened, but they both leave after a brief exchange of words. Asuka's form looks real shaky as she flies back to us. She must be pretty tired. If anything, to me, Shindo's opinion or his view on Asuka Masaya would be more directed to Masaya. Because obviously that's where my opinion is, but yeah. That's not true. Listen, I doubt many other players here could have driven Shindo-san into a corner like that. That's putting a bit of a dagger into the back of Misaki there. Gotta be watch your words. I swear, I'm not just trying to console her. She really surprised me out there. I'm amazed that she managed to make Shindo-san fight dirty. I wouldn't really say that's dirty as well. Right. She did add, but it was scary, but it was also really fun. Wow, that's all she has to say after that loss. Man, this girl's one tough cookie. I really don't like that saying. I really do think she's strong, is what that's saying. Hontou ni tsuyoi to omou. I was expecting her to feel kinda depressed. I don't think I would. From what we know of Asuka, she does seem to be the more... As long as she gets to fly, she's be happy, in a sense. And obviously she has lost every other match up until now. Until those two other matches. So... why would she all of a sudden feel depressed now compared to all the other matches? Anyway. You're strong, Asuka. If you say so. Let me know if you ever need any help. I mean, that's your job as the coach. Just talking to the other teammates. Yeah. Madoka rushes over to her as she calls out her name. And when she reaches her, starts stroking Asuka's head. I can see Madoka doing that, yeah. That just shows how desperate he was to win. Again, watch your words.
必死と言っても結局は7点も差をつけられちゃったけどね。
I was expecting Misaki to be a bit. Probably putting a mask over her emotions right now.
はい、後半は何をされているのかよくわからない状態でした。次の大会の目標は打倒進藤さんですね。
進藤さんは3年生だってば。この大会で最後だから打倒する機会はないって。
そうでした。
I'm glad both of you got to face him. Made it for valuable experience, right?
はい、進藤さんと試合ができてよかったです。
But was Misaki able to? Saki turns away with a sour look on her face. Is something wrong?
いい経験だったかもしれないけど、進藤さんと試合をするために FC をしてるわけじゃないし。
Well, that may be true, but...
美咲先輩はもっと上を見てるんですよね。そこから見れば進藤さんとの試合も踏み台に過ぎないと。
そうそれだから、つまりそういうこと。
そういうことなんです。
Alright. I'll just let the conversation end on that note, since it seems like Misaki doesn't want to talk about it. Well, we may be done with the summer tournament now, but you're not allowed to head home. Go watch the remaining matches instead. You can learn a lot from watching other people play.
Hi.
Well, play I wouldn't really say is the right word. More like watching other people compete. I think it would be the right word. Okay, well.
しっかり見ておきます。
Make sure to think of how you'd react to everything happening in the matches. It's a good advice there.
どう騙すかということですね。
Sure, why not? Take my words however you want. Anyway, I'm gonna go report our results to Shirase-san and Miss Kagami.
私らはここで見てるからごゆっくり。どうも、こんにちは。
Interesting, didn't expect to run into Irina. A blonde girl who seems quite familiar trots over to me. Blonde? I mean, in some lights, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know why I'm seeing a little bit of green in there. I can faintly tell blonde, but it's not really the type of color palette, I guess you could say, I would use to say blonde. I don't know.
忘れないでください。イリーナです。
She thrusts her face up to mine and gives me a wink as she says that. I do remember you, I swear. You're Inui's second, Irina-san.
そうです。イリーナさんです。
That's one thing I learned with Japanese is when you refer to yourself, you don't add "san" to yourself. That's one thing I learned. She's the second of the player who knocked Prez out in the first round. Wow, Inui's won all their matches so far. As to be expected.
はい。次も勝って次も勝ったら一番です。
Inui has a similar playstyle to Prez, so the fact that she's gotten this far is a good sign for him. So she's stuck to the same playstyle. Interesting.
そちらの1回戦の
His name is Aoyagi.
はい、青柳さん。青柳さん、強い人でした。
Happy to hear that.
それと試合見てました。すごい面白い試合。 興奮しました。興味あります、倉科さん。
興味があります is more like you have an interest or it's piqued your interest, I guess you could say. You are focused on it in a sense. It's caught your eye in a sense. Is that you're saying Kurishina has caught her eye or piqued her interest? Oh, you're talking how she just fought Shinzo-san.
はい、見ていて楽しかったです。愉快愉快で日本語正しいですか？
Yukai. I'm actually not too sure about that word. So let me just... Yukai. So with yukai, it's translated as pleasant, delightful, enjoyable, cheerful, joyful, cheerful, amusing, happy. So why did they use the word amusing out of all those other words they could have used? Is it trying to say, because out of all of those, amusing is a lot more negative in a sense, because amusing is more like making fun of it in a sense. Like, how can I say this? Amusing? Well, it's not really wrong, but I wouldn't exactly call it a good choice of words. Well, I wouldn't really say it was a good choice of words in English, but because like one of the words you could have used for yukai is enjoyable or delightful, not pleasant. It was a pleasant match to watch, or it was an enjoyable match to watch. Obviously, I think there are other Japanese words you can use for enjoyable, like tanoshii or omoshiroi. So sure. Okay. Amusing isn't really a word you'd use to praise a match. Yeah, that's... I guess this thing is saying roughly the same thing. Because I think that's one of the reasons why they chose amusing as the English word to use here. Because from what I can tell from this conversation, she is making fun of it in a sense, or putting it in that sense. So the right word to use among all those yukai words would be amusing. So that's where I can understand that.
飛んだり跳ねたり、あっち行ってそっち行ってという試合で、サーカス。日本語でサーカスは何と言いますか？
What is the word for circus again? It's on the tip of my tongue, I can't remember. But interesting, that's almost like she's saying she's never really seen people fight, like fighters in a sense. Circus is circus in Japanese as well, I think. Circus. I'm sure curious. I have my dictionary open right here anyway, so let me just take a look. Yeah, circus, okay. Yeah. Interesting, I actually don't know that.
あの試合はサーカスですね。いろんな技が出て、上下左右に激しく移動していて、見ていて楽しいけど、FC ではありませんね。
It's not real flying circus. The music stopped as well. Interesting. It makes you think, what type of flying circus do they do overseas then? Because what Shino-san and Asuka showed to me, from what little I know obviously, is that's quite a strong showing of a match. It showed that both players can perform pro moves. So if we consider those as professional moves, then... Okay. Huh? It wasn't Flying Circus? Oh, what do you mean?
え
She seems surprised by my question. One second. Okay. I'm just curious what you mean by it not being real Flying Circus. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary out there. Well, other than the crazy moves each of them pulled off anyway.
私の日本語おかしかったですか
No, that's not it. I just want to know why you don't consider Shino-san and Kurishina's match real Flying Circus. This time, Irina-san flashes a friendly smile.
勝つことが目的ならあんなに派手に動き回る必要ないです
So they don't consider fighting Flying Circus then? Just speed? That would be the goal then, for them. Huh? They were moving around like that because they were trying to win.
そうですか
Yeah.
勝つためにエアキックターンやコブラやスイシーダが必要だったそう言いたいんですか
Interesting. I'm thinking of different things here. One, it makes me think Inui doesn't know any of these abilities then, or she doesn't think she needs any special move, in a sense. Then secondly, I'm quite confused by this question as well. Like, you would obviously need them if you're fighting against a strong opponent, because you would need that to win. Okay. Well, are you trying to say they were pointless?
必要ですか
I mean, sure, no. Like, if Shino-san didn't do the Cobra the first time, he might have actually gotten touched by Asuka. Asuka would have been touched by Shino-san's Cobra if she didn't do the Ekic turn, as she wouldn't have scored those points without the Ekic turn against Shino-san. So they were necessary? She has a puzzled look on her face as she says that. I'm sure they used them because they were necessary. Both of them pulled out all the stops to win that match, which is rather admirable. Sure, they may have looked rather flashy, they looked really flashy, but it's not like they were trying to put on a show or anything. She may not get that, but I know it to be true. Yeah, okay.
愉快です
I see.
でもあれは私の知ってる FC とは違いますね
And what's your brand of FC like?
きっと決勝戦は進藤選手と乾になりますそれを見てもらえば私の言いたいことわかると思います
I'm really hoping they do show this match now. And I hope Shindo-san beats Inui. But I have a feeling Shindo might lose. I did theorize in the beginning of the tournament saying that Inui will probably beat Shindo. But if Inui's match style is only that of what we've seen, then I don't know how she can win against Shindo then. That's why I feel like it's not just that, there's something else to it.
FC わかります
True Flying Circus? Ina-san gives me a firm nod as I say that. But this kind of conversation with how she's speaking about it makes me worried. Because obviously now I want Shino-san to win, but...
はい本当の FC です
I just don't want it to be too one-sided, because then that will destroy his thoughts on the current playstyle as well as some of the other players, especially Misaki and Asuka. Maybe I'm just being weird, but Innocence Friendly Smile seems really scary right now. I sure hope I'm just imagining things. People say that it's normally not that.
知ってますよ。日向雅也さん。ジュニアの時。
Interesting. So they know about Masaya now. But how is that important? Why did they know about it so? Huh? How do you know that?
乾と同じ年頃の選手はできるだけ調べてるんです。
See, this is what I expect of Masaya to do. Look into other players around their age. But I haven't played FC in years.
ですから調べてるんです。
Why? Ian-san doesn't seem the least bit fazed by my question.
日向さんの育てた選手でも日向さんでもいいです。いつか乾を潰しに来てください。
Okay.
あの子は魔女ですから、そうしてくれるとすごく喜びます。
I did not expect that. What? She's a masochist? Why does that matter?
誰かに潰されるのを心待ちにしてるんです。乾
Okay.
は真面目な性格ですから。
So she's wanting a challenge, then. Corners of her lips curve into a smile as she backs away from me. What exactly do you want? Instead of answering, Irina-san directs a slightly awkward bow at me before turning around and walking away. What is she thinking? She's talked a whole lot, so I'm not even sure where to begin. Though the thing that weighs most heavily on my mind is true flying circus. She's saying that outspeeding your opponent is true flying circus? That is one way to win, but it's not the only one. She said I'd understand after watching enemy face Shindo-san. Well, she'd better make it to the grand finals now, or they'll both have egg on their face. Weird saying. I haven't heard that before. Okay, well, I don't see some of these kanjis, don't know, but I know the egg kanji, and I don't see the egg anywhere in Japanese, so.
ごきげんよう、日向雅也。
Okay, we'll end it there for today. Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't expect the match to go that way. A few key points. So we know Shindo-san was possibly testing or putting Asuka through a trial and see her potential. And with what Masaya said about the end of the match where he thought, is that all? I don't think that is toward Asuka, because we know Asuka still has potential to grow even more. To me, that was more against Masaya as a second and a coach. And obviously, as you can probably tell, I do have a bad opinion on Masaya's ability as a coach. That's why I keep saying it. But anyway. Secondly, Misaki. I'm really curious, or I don't think there will be much of a change yet. And I think that might happen if we see that Shindo versus Inui match. I think that might be a tipping point for Misaki. Just have a feeling it will be. But it is interesting to see how Misaki views Asuka. that I felt strong emotion from that, and that was a good scene. I enjoy those types of scenes. So I was a bit surprised to see how she kept the mask on after when we were talking with Asuka at the end. Like, we did see a little bit of a sullen face from her after that, but I expected a little bit more. But that's why I'm expecting a little bit more later. I have to keep an eye on that. What else? Then we'll talk with Irina and Inui. One thing I'm worried here is because what they've been doing is, in a sense, flying circus that the area knows, that everyone has been practicing and flying, in a sense. Obviously they know a bit from professional flying circus, things like that, but their flying circus is regional, I guess you could say. It is what they have been taught and have been doing. So with the introduction of a foreign flying circus player, that style of flying circus will be, I guess you could call it, a culture shock. It is something that they have not seen or experienced, and if Shindo-san loses drastically to that style, it might shift things around. And in my opinion, it might shake up Asuka and Misaki's view of flying circus. I'm curious on how that would be. That's why I feel like Inui might beat Shindo. But of course, I want it to be a close match, but I want Shindo-san to win that one. I'm just thinking now. Okay. Now next is we're gonna talk with SunaeVN here. Not sure what she's gonna talk about. Probably talk about Asuka, probably. How she's probably improved, or how it was a great match, and so on and so on. I want to see what they think and what they'll talk about. I think one other thing we might see next time is Inui versus Ganeko. Because I remember Ganeko is said to be second to Shindo. So I'd love to see how much of a difference that match will be. Also, I don't know how Arisaka, I think his name was Arisaka or Arika, Ganeko's Kohai, Mashiro's friend. I wonder how she went. We haven't seen or heard from her either. I'm not too sure how the bracket is standing right now, so it's hard to say. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting match, interesting episode. I'm looking forward to the next one, seeing how everything will transition from here onwards. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of shifting in how everyone's view of each person will be. It'll be interesting to see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time.